The United States is currently 8 weeks into its 2-week ceasefire with Iran. So what's new, and what does it mean? As I mentioned in a recent episode, the current ceasefire is very confusing to many of us because the messages between the United States and the Iranian side seem to contradict one another. On the one hand, our president insists that Iran is very anxious to make a deal and that the non-negotiables are that Iran must give up its nuclear ambitions, fork over the enriched nuclear material it has already developed, and end support for its terrorist proxies such as Hezbollah and Hamas. For their part, Iran has countered with their own demands that include the U.S. returning billions of dollars in offshore Iranian assets that have been frozen, the withdrawal of American military from the region, and official recognition of the country's right to engage in nuclear research and development. It has been this way for weeks, and I don't think it's difficult to appreciate the universal confusion among those of us who are not in the official loop. As recently as last Saturday, Lara Trump, who is the wife of the president's son Eric and a confidant in Trump's inner circle, stated on Fox and Friends that the situation could possibly be resolved in the next couple of hours. I heard that, and frankly, it made me angry. That's not because I don't want a deal to be made or that I don't want peace with Iran. Quite the contrary. I would love a peaceful solution to the situation. I am as skeptical as anyone about the possibility of the IRGC negotiating a deal in good faith, but I would be very happy about one if a verifiable deal could be reached. What made me angry is that Lara Trump's assertion that we might be within mere hours of a peaceful solution to the war with Iran is that it seems exactly as unlikely as the last 10 times we heard similar claims from the president himself. I'm well past the rolling my eyes point when I hear that Iran is desperate for a deal and that we are very close to signing something. I would like to believe it, but I just don't. I'm sorry, but at this point I just see it as ridiculous and especially as disrespectful to the American public. I don't know if this is part of a larger strategy of which I am unaware. I sincerely hope that it is. But I am tired of being told things over and over that with minimal research would seem to be untrue. Lies. My feeling is that it would simply be better to report on the effectiveness of the blockade on Iran's economy, or the facts about the numerous skirmishes that there have been with the IRGC, or just to say nothing. I'm surprised anyone is even reporting that Trump says we are close to signing a deal anymore. From this observer's point of view, we are not. That is not to say that there is nothing to talk about here. So, in no particular order, here are some thoughts that I can share. First of all, what has Iran been doing since the ceasefire started? Analysts I have seen say that Iran wanted a ceasefire so the IRGC could regroup and recoup. That is to say, to get some breathing room and to fortify their defensive and especially their offensive capabilities. The question I have is how successful their efforts are and how much we actually know about what they're doing. Next, this last weekend, the United States quietly helped to guide several ships, 10 or so, through the Strait of Hormuz. The vessels, including 3 large oil tankers and various cargo ships, all originated from non-Iranian ports. This tells me that the United States has identified at least some corridor that is not mined and that they must have had high confidence in their ability to protect the ships from Iranian attacks. Third on my list is that there has been a pretty notable escalation of dangerous exchanges between the United States and the IRGC after an American surveillance drone was shot down over international waters. Our response was to destroy several radar sites, ballistic missile networks, and ground control stations on the Gorok and Keshim Islands. Officially, we still have a ceasefire, but belligerent activity has definitely ramped up in the last week. Finally, there were reports that the president of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, had resigned his office because elements of the Revolutionary Guard had usurped all of his ability to negotiate on behalf of the country. The reports were apparently untrue. He has been seen carrying out some of his official duties, but it has been credibly suggested that Pezeshkian did, in fact, tender his resignation, but that it wasn't accepted because it would be seen as a sign of weakness by the enemy. In any case, what would seem to be true is that the struggle among various factions within the IRGC has not been resolved. That makes me wonder once again, who are we even talking to? Do we know who is running the country? Do they? All of this just underlines my initial feeling about what we are being told. I have seen nothing beyond President Trump's hopeful statements that would indicate that there is a pending agreement to end the war with the Islamist government in Iran. Absolutely nothing. This is Pablo El Molinero.